There are countless theories about the events surrounding the death of the famous billionaire Steve Jobs, but what really happened to him? Welcome to my channel. And today, let's find out what really happened to Steve Jobs. At 6:15 p.m. on October 5, 2011, Steve Jobs, co-founder and CEO of Apple, died at the age of 56. The cause of his death was respiratory arrest due to complications from a pancreatic neuroendocrine tumor. Steve Jobs was born on February 24, 1955. When he was only 4 days old, his biological parents gave him up for adoption, and he grew up with his adoptive parents in Mountain View, California. In high school, he met Steve Wozniak, who became his best friend and business partner. Together, they founded Apple Computer Inc. In 1976, Steve Jobs designed the look of Apple products, while Wozniak took care of engineering. With the launch of the Apple Macintosh in 1984, they achieved incredible success. At that time, it was a highly advanced computer. It had a user-friendly interface with graphics and a mouse. The Macintosh was revolutionary because it marked the beginning of the personal computer era. But in 1985, the two Steves had a conflict with Mike Markula, the third member of Apple's original team. They couldn't agree on how to proceed with the company. The disagreement led to Jobs' dismissal from Apple in 1985. He tried other businesses, such as Next Inc. and Pixar, which were not commercially successful. However, when Apple began to lose ground to Microsoft, the board of directors called Jobs back in 1997 to turn the company around. This move proved to be incredibly successful. Apple's net worth skyrocketed under his leadership. Jobs introduced iconic products such as the iMac, iTunes, iPhone, and iPad. In fact, his second stint at Apple was one of the most successful in corporate history. He received numerous awards and was listed among Time magazine's 100 most influential people. Despite his success, Jobs kept many secrets. He never spoke publicly about his battle with cancer or his adoptive parents. Jobs also avoided revealing why he left Apple in 1985. Many people wondered what really happened, but now we can reveal the truth. Steve Jobs was a unique individual. He was charismatic, visionary, and demanding. People who knew him described him as complicated and moody. Throughout his career, Jobs was criticized for his arrogance and abrasive management style. Yet despite this, he was widely respected for his contributions to technology. He once said, "Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary." Jobs lived his life according to these words. When Jobs was 24 years old, he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. At that point, the tumor was already in an advanced stage, and he was given a 10% chance of survival. Jobs managed to keep his illness a secret until 2004, when he underwent an emergency operation to remove a tumor the size of a football. He shared his experience in an interview with the New York Times in 2005. "I had a tumor the size of a football. I was given a 7% chance of survival. I wanted to tell my friends and family that I had this thing called a neuroendocrine tumor of the pancreas, which is a very rare form of pancreatic cancer. There are 5 different kinds of pancreatic cancer, and it's the least common, which is why I was able to hide it for so long." Jobs believed that his cancer was a metaphor for life. When you grow up, you're told that the future is going to be amazing, but in reality, no one knows what is going to happen. I learned that we're all terminally ill. None of us knows how much time we have. You have to decide what matters most to you and focus on that. This philosophy guided his decisions at work and in his personal life. After the surgery, Jobs had to undergo a liver transplant. The surgery was performed by Dr. Robert I. Glatter, a specialist in minimally invasive surgery. It was a very complex surgery because the tumor had wrapped around several major blood vessels. We had to go through the tumor very carefully to isolate the blood supply. It took over 12 hours. Following the procedure, Jobs kept the specifics of his health struggles private. He didn't talk about the details of his illness or the surgeries again. His close friend and biographer, Walter Isaacson, wrote, "Although he was gone for 8 days, his staff knew nothing. He was secretive and disciplined about his private life. He never wanted anyone to know anything that could jeopardize his ability to protect his family." This decision to keep his health issues private was admirable, given that he was a public figure. One day in 2009, a photo surfaced online showing Jobs leaving a hospital in California. Naturally, this sparked rumors about his health. Tech blogs speculated about Jobs' absence from an Apple conference. Some said he had pancreatic cancer, others claimed he was suffering from leukemia. These rumors reached a fever pitch when Jobs lost a significant amount of weight, leading to speculation that he might be terminally ill. In response to these rumors, Apple released a statement saying, "Steve Jobs has taken a medical leave of absence. He will not be returning to work until mid-January." The board is fully confident in Tim Cook's ability to manage Apple on an interim basis. Many people questioned whether Jobs would ever return to work. At that point, his health was in jeopardy, and he was absent from Apple events for the first time in 10 years. In reality, Jobs had pancreatic cancer. The operation was a success, but he kept the details of his condition private. I thought that I was supposed to be the poster child for health food, but in reality, I ate a lot of junk food. My diet consisted of McDonald's, milk, and honey. In June 2011, Jobs announced that he was resigning from Apple. Tim Cook replaced him. On October 5, 2011, Steve Jobs died at his home in Palo Alto, California. The cause of death was respiratory arrest due to complications from his pancreatic cancer. Many people believe that Steve Jobs was more interested in making money than changing the world. He was quoted as saying, "Money is not the most important thing in life, but having lots of money does make it easier." However, his actions showed otherwise. He used his vast fortune to pursue his passions, such as filmmaking. Jobs purchased the animation studio Pixar for $10 million. Under his leadership, Pixar became one of the most successful animation studios in the world. He produced animated films such as Monsters, Inc. and Finding Nemo, which grossed over $1 billion worldwide. As a perfectionist, Jobs had many unusual habits. For example, he always wore a black turtleneck sweater, because he liked the way Mark Zuckerberg looked in one. He was also obsessed with abstract art. In fact, Jobs spent millions of dollars buying paintings. According to Business Insider, his collection included works by George Condo, a contemporary painter. One of Jobs' most notable characteristics was his intense focus. He set ambitious goals and expected them to be met immediately. In an email to his team, Jobs wrote, "If you wait 10 years to do something, you will end up doing it badly. You should do it today." He was known for his attention to detail. Jobs paid attention to every aspect of his life, from the design of his house to the color of his clothes. He chose black as his favorite color and preferred to wear simple clothing. He believed that a clean and minimalist environment helped him concentrate. Therefore, he decorated his house in a similar fashion. So what do you think? Did you enjoy this video? What did you think of Jobs' personality? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that we can continue sharing incredible stories full of life lessons. Thank you for watching, and see you soon.